Kandidatin, mit der wir sprechen, nennt sich Sofia Dona, ist geboren in Athen und hat dort auch ihre Ausbildung gemacht zur Künstlerin, Architektin und war dann in Weimar an der Bauhaus-Universität und ist dort, hat sich dort zur offiziellen diplomierten Künstlerin.
Hello. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Sophia.
Hello, guys. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. There you are. Now we can see you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, very welcome to Leipzig, to this little exchange.
I hope I was there, actually. Physically.
Please?
I hope I was physically there.
Yeah, well, they can see you, but you can't see them because they are sitting all in the dark.
Oh, wow, it's a lot of people.
But there were a bunch of 10, 15 people listening to you and with whom you can share your experiences. You worked in Germany for some time, you studied in Weimar, I already told the audience, and you also made some projects here in Leipzig. Perhaps you can starting just telling us, what did you do here?
Yes. Actually, I'm an architect. I studied architecture in Athens, and then I moved to Weimar for 2 years to do a Master of Fine Arts at the Bauhaus University. That was 2008, and then on the first semester we were very lucky, in my opinion, because they took us to Leipzig to do a first project. So that was my first connection with Leipzig. Actually, it's my favorite city in Germany. Or generally, it's a city that I would really like to go and live, but now my plans totally changed direction. I will probably be in Munich, unfortunately. Yes.
Okay. What makes
this is where I have a job offer right now for some time. But so when I went to Leipzig the first time, I was working on after the first semester, I decided I applied for an open call, and it was the time that Leipzig was. All these people that are there are Leipzigers or not?
The people here are from Leipzig, mostly.
Okay.
I guess.
So I guess they can. I can only talk in a very first level of what I feel. I felt that it's happened there. I guess they know much better of the situation. But in 2008, I started doing the project in Eisenbahnstraße that was totally empty. Abandoned. I was very interested in all these panels, wooden panels that closed down the gate. And the facade of buildings, probably in order not to occupy them. So I was doing a project that was called Open Leipzig, and what I did is that I transferred the same panels that exist, I transferred them into tables. So I put hinges and legs. I did a construction that they could open up whenever there was an event, and they could close down on the wall whenever they should. So this for me, it's like architecture and art. Sorry, this was my cat, as you saw. He likes to come when I'm in Skype. So that was between architecture and art, and it's like using the space in this. I'm interested in this in-between situation. So you have a house that is closed down, and then you don't know what's going to happen. You're not sure if somebody is going to invest, if there's going to be a big money, if it's going to be a house project, and what's going to happen exactly. But I'm very interested to create this public space. So I opened up these panels, the wooden panels, and we did like one date with the neighborhoods of the area. I was also very lucky because next to the building that I have chosen, I wanted to do all the street, but it was not possible budget-wise, so I did one building. And it's also interesting because of the inclination street, you have different height of the tables that were made. And next to the building there was a house project that they helped me really a lot, giving me electricity and all the machines that I need. And this generally happened in Leipzig to me, and I felt very grateful for that. Generally, I have been living in many house projects, and it was really great, all the people.
How did the people react to this opening of the...
They really liked it. I mean, the people that came from the neighborhood, because normally you have the artist audience that always come, okay, but there were people from the neighborhood that really liked that, and it was a very empty street. I'm not sure if now all these houses are being occupied or like lived by the people. But at that time, okay, a month after, I went to see what this happened back, because people were able to put it down, and up again, and they actually all the wooden structures were gone. So I think people took the wood for other structures, So, but I think whenever you do a project in public space, this is, you have to be open on what the city and the people can do with it anyway. So I wasn't sad about it. If this wasn't able to be used by the people, it was able to work for something else.
So you came then to Leipzig. How was your welcome? How was it possible for you to do such a thing without any networks? In this town, how were you welcomed? Could you connect to the existing structures, if there were any?
I think it's a very open city. Like, if you know some people, they can live with some other people. As I told you, it was an abandoned house, but for me it was very easy to find people next to this house that could give me all their tools and their electricity. And actually, the only problematic, but at the same time interesting part was that I needed normally to get a permission, but that was not able to happen, and I did this in a way, illegal, let's say. I didn't do a special thing, but I had to drill some hinges on the panels, so it was. But next to the house, next to the building, there was another building that was renovated at the same time. So I was there drilling the panels, and next to me it was this guy that was painting the other house. So probably they thought that I was from the renovating company. So it was really funny, nobody really stopped. But it was a very open city, and a lot of people came, and I think it created a big network. I have lived in many places like Plagwitz and Cornerwitz and Ludwig Strasse, Lindenau, and it's a city that for me, I'm really trying to do more projects focusing on the house projects, because I think it's a city that is questioning in a very different way and experimenting on how you can have a city differently as we know it now. So I don't know about the house project that I'm really interested in this idea of how it can form a new idea of a house project, and if, for example, this thing could be possible in Athens, which is a little different mentality of ownership, of family housing, of sharing, of big companies, of investment. Yeah, and
you also did projects not only in Leipzig, but I saw in your Vita you also worked in Detroit, Chicago, Pisa, and how could you use your experiences of Leipzig there, or were there totally different networks and cities?
Well, after I lived in Leipzig for a while, I knew that it's a city that I wanted to do my thesis project. So I did this project that it was called Twin Towns, Leipzig, Detroit. So this is an idea I have, and now it's my PhD work. I try to connect cities that, for my feeling, they have a connection for that moment, and maybe they are not sister cities. Sister cities in German, it's Schwesterstädte.
Yeah, partner cities on the international level.
So for me, that time, Leipzig and Detroit was very interesting. It was 2010. It was empty houses, etc. But very, very different past. So you have the total capitalist city, that Detroit, a total different mentality, and Leipzig, that's a total different political past. And very common ideas that the artists, like you had a lot of art projects, people going there, artists going there, buying houses in order to do their work, or abandoned spaces that become tourist attraction. Entering in abandoned swimming pools, or it shared a lot of common things, and this is where I did this project, exchanging some. So one of the things was like two trombonists playing in two abandoned swimming pools. So the one was a Aztec High School in Detroit that now is demolished, and the other one is the Standort-Bestimmung in Leipzig. And the second was an exchange between two signs in abandoned shops. So one was the Automobile Schumachermeister, it was a clothes shop, and the Maria's Resale. So for me it was very interesting to adjust a label shop, an abandoned shop with a different language. So how can you have like a German shop in a very typical Detroit area, let's say, and the opposite, Maria's Resale. And the third was a change between two art initiatives. So because in all these house projects people need a lot of material, I asked them to change windows, because it's like the American and the European window, the European window is like that, and the American is like this, the typical. And I'm an architect, I have some of this obsession. And so in Detroit we cut the wall in order to form the window, and I brought the Detroit window back in the Hinz und Kunz in Lindenau area. It was really, the moment that I was doing this connection and I was reading a lot about Leipzig and Detroit, I was in this house in Detroit doing this demolition, like inside wall of a house, of this house. And when we were doing this demolition, this guy found an Arbeits card, I don't know how to call it, a working permission from 1909. That was from a guy from Leipzig. It was really, I was very, very impressed. It just happened, and I thought maybe there is some kind of also former migration, and so this is right now. I'm going to do a project between Athens and Los Angeles, which is also very weird. But the time that I was in Detroit, I mean Detroit and Leipzig, it's like for me the one city helped me understand the other.
And at those times both cities were called shrinking cities. In Leipzig the tide now is changing, cities growing, people are talking about 600,000 inhabitants are going to come the next 10 years. So is it for foreign artists these open spaces which arise in those shrinking cities are favorable? But I mean now you go to Munich, which is not a shrinking city at all, and not a cheap city at all.
I know, I just go, sorry, the Munich is a parenthesis, I just go because I have a good job offer.
Okay. Yeah, but do you, as an artist, do you need this open spaces, or could you work in the networks where everything already is closed, where the cake is given to each part and there is nothing left?
Yeah, actually I'm very interested in, this is why I live in Athens also, let's say. I'm very interested in cities that are also because of a mistake or of the situation, let's say. I call it mistake in a lot of, not as a real mistake, that give the possibility of experimenting in new ways of living. Athens, for example, is a city like that right now, because it's very politically strong of what's happening. It's very cheap in terms of housing. It's just all these cities always have this problem that where the art goes, the investment comes. And then it starts to become closed. This is why I believe that in Leipzig has a first experimental model of if all these house projects are able to stay as they are, and if they are 50 or I don't know how many they, then this is an example of how somebody can fight on this formality and this investment that doesn't leave space, open space actually for the people to be creative in the way they want. Because if you are like to be in a company and have a very good salary, but then everything, as you said, it's very low, you will never be able to be very creative, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. We have to close now because the next is
okay.
waiting. So,
I hope,
any last words?
Okay, have a great time then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.